Thank you for joining us. My name is Rafi Jamgochan. I'm the president of the AESA Northeast section. I wanted to briefly welcome everyone and just say a thank you to the organizing committee for putting on this event. From APO, Dr. Garvis Baidar and Dr. Larry Najarian, from the Armenian Bar Association, Armen Morian, from the ABSA, Harold Takushian, AGBU, Natalie Gabrielian, from AWA and the Armenian Network, Elizabeth Akian, and from the AESA, Anahe Daldonyan, Shante Babumyan, Alan Berber, Hovannes Mardirosyan, David Mikaelian, Maral Muradian, Aram Setyan, Vahan Tenal, and again, my name is Rafi Jamgochan. Steve Negosian is also here from Touchpoint Communication, who's going to provide some post-event media coverage for us. And without a moment to do, I'd like to introduce Shante Babumyan from the AESA as your MC.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 11th Annual Mentoring Forum. This is our first year hosting the Mentoring Forum virtually, and we're excited about the possibilities that this opened up. We have mentors and mentees joining us from all over the country and other countries, including Armenia. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. We're pleased to welcome those joining us for the first time, as well as our seasoned participants who have lent their time and efforts for over a decade. Today, we'll hear remarks by our distinguished keynote speaker, a Mentoring Forum mentee turned mentor, and then engage in breakout sessions where you will have a chance to move to multiple rooms if you wish and speak to mentors and mentees in different fields of expertise and interests. Feel free to contact me using the Zoom chat feature throughout the event with any issues, questions, follow-up, or feedback you may have. You can also email us, and I'm putting the email address in the chat. So without further ado, on my end, Rafi, we'd like to welcome you as President of Armenian Engineers and Scientists of America to say a few words.
Thank you again. I want to, again, just reiterate my thanks to the group that helped us organize this. Before we continue, while we wait for our keynote to join us, I did want to also welcome Maral Muradian, who's a member of the AESA, started out as a mentee and is now a mentor, and to talk a few words about her experience throughout the mentoring program throughout the years.
Sure. Thank you, Rafi. Thank you, Shante, and welcome everyone to the Mentoring Forum. So as Rafi mentioned, I was a mentor maybe about 7 years ago. Mentee about 7 years ago, turned mentor. So I'd just like to share my story and the value of this wonderful mentoring forum. So my name is Maral Muradian, with the addition of a Jamgochan now because I am married. So like I said, 7 years ago, I was in the position as mentee. I was a student at Stevens Institute of Technology in Hoboken, New Jersey, studying civil engineering. If we have any more engineers out here, I know we have more alumni from Stevens here too. Welcome. So I graduated in 2015 as a structural engineer with a minor in green engineering. And the summer before graduating, I came to join ASA at this mentoring forum to search for a summer internship, as many of our mentees should be doing. So I was very lucky to find an entire room of mentors who were ready to help, to connect and to provide advice. And I use the word lucky because when you think about the generations before us who maybe didn't have these opportunities, who maybe came to this country or even just moved to a new state with perhaps a single contact or no support system at all, you realize what a golden opportunity it is for our generation to have access to these mentors who are full of wisdom and connections. So I'll say this now, and you'll probably hear it over and over again throughout your schooling and as you find your first jobs, that connections are extremely important, and it is very difficult to get far without a connection. So back in college, I didn't like that piece of advice, as some of you may also not like it, or some of you may already understand it. So I thought that it was weird to ask for help getting a job. I thought that I could just apply to all the jobs that I wanted with a stellar resume and I would definitely get an offer. I might have gotten interviews, but I didn't get those offers. So the reason I didn't get those offers is because I didn't have those connections. And the power of the connection is having someone advocate for you at that company. So as a student, you need to do 90% of the work. You do need to study hard. You need to score high. You need to be able to communicate well. And then that last push, that last 10% is the helping hand of a professional connection. So unsurprisingly, when I did come to join the mentoring forum that year before I graduated college, I did make a connection. And through that connection, who connected me to another Armenian with Stantec Engineering, Stantec Consulting, I landed a summer internship, and that summer internship turned into a job offer before I even graduated. So that was the power of the connection, and it was such a wonderful experience. After that, after finding that job, I came back as a mentor. And so if we have anyone out there who is interested in studying civil engineering or structural engineering or construction management, I'm here to help. Come talk to me. And so our story with this mentoring forum doesn't end when you become a student. There is so much more to do throughout our lifetimes to help and uplift others as we are helped ourselves. Thank you. And back to you.
Thank you so much, Mehrad. So I actually didn't catch if our keynote has signed on yet or not, Rafi.
I'm on.
Oh, welcome. So we would like to next introduce our keynote speaker. I'm sorry, there's just so many pages of people. I didn't see you on there.
No worries.
Rafi, would you like to say a few words?
We'd like to recognize Margarita Balassarian, who's here. She has an incredible journey about from diaspora to working with the Republic of Armenia, and she's going to talk a little bit about her journey there.
Okay, should I start? Great, awesome. First of all, thank you everyone for this wonderful opportunity to the Armenian American Health Professionals Organization, Armenian Engineers and Scientists of America, Armenian Bar, AWA, Armenian Network of America, Armenian Behavioral Science Association, and of course the AGPU for organizing this wonderful event and for the invitation for me to speak. It is truly an honor for me to be here today. As Rafi stated, I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey to Armenia and how I ended up working here, and hopefully it will be worthwhile. I'm going to be reading because it's quite a lot. I apologize ahead of time. So my journey to Armenia began with a summer visit in 2013. My older sister, Hasmit, wanted us to stay in Armenia for 3 months. But during the first weeks of the trip, I fought with her every single day, insisting that 3 months was way too long and that I wanted to go back home by the end of the month. 2 weeks later, the month had gone by without me even noticing, and suddenly 2 more months had gone by, and I was standing in Zvaknot airport crying my eyes out because I didn't want to go back to Los Angeles because I had found a home in Armenia. On our flight back, my sister and I made a promise to each other that one day we were going to return. 7 years later, here I am speaking to you from my living room in Yerevan. When I was trying to write this speech, initially I was reflecting upon this very first trip to Armenia as if it was like an open door to Narnia. I had opened it without intention, and suddenly there was all this world of possibilities, and it was up to me to take that chance and step in. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that my return to Armenia was not at all like opening up a door to Narnia. Perhaps a better analogy would be that it was my first trip sort of placed this giant bucket of Legos or building blocks in front of me. And every step I took after that became a building block of a door I was building. And finally, when I had built a sturdy enough door, I opened it and stepped in. One of the first steps towards this was relearning Armenian. Having only received an Armenian education until fourth grade, by the time I had entered university, I had largely forgotten how to read and write in Armenian. I soon discovered that UCLA has an incredible Armenian studies program, and I took my very first Armenian course in sophomore year. The course not only taught me how to read and write, it also immersed me in a world of Armenian literature, art, and history that had been absent from my life for far too long. As I was learning Armenian, I also became involved with a wonderful nonprofit organization called the Hidden Road Initiative, which led me on multiple trips to Armenia, from hosting summer camps to renovating schools and kindergartens in remote and underserved Armenian villages. The experiences of working in these villages showed me a different version of Armenia, the kind tourists rarely get to see. It made me question my own identity as a diasporan Armenian, my values, and my responsibility to my country. 2 years later, in 2016, while searching for more opportunities, I learned about Birthright Armenia, an organization that provides diasporan Armenians a chance to work in Armenia by placing them in internship opportunities in their chosen fields. Through Birthright, I volunteered at the Helsinki Association of Human Rights and Transparency International Anti-Corruption Center. That summer, while I was working in Armenia, was a turbulent time. For those who remember or know, the Sasnatsarar movement, or some would call it an insurgency, was taking place. And interning at two very active civil society organizations as this movement was happening really honed in my interest in Armenian politics and government, and eventually led me to my decision to go to graduate school and study political sociology with a concentration in social movements and revolutions. After graduating from the London School of Economics and Political Science, I began to actively search for opportunities to work in Armenia. And I found such an opportunity at the Office of the High Commissioner for Diaspora Affairs, where I'm currently working on multiple projects, including a repatriation and integration center, which will hopefully one day attract the likes of you to move to Armenia. I have been living in Armenia for just over a year now. And I wish I could tell you that it has been a walk in the park, that it has been the most amazing year of my life, but that would be a lie. The truth is, it has been the most difficult year of my life. And every day I find that the door I started building back in 2013 is slowly turning into a home whose foundation is not very steady and whose strength I question more often than not. The reality is that during the very first week I moved to Armenia, the COVID-19 pandemic found its way to Armenia as well. 6 months later, as the country was struggling to recover from the economic ramifications of the deadly virus, Azerbaijan launched an all-out war in Artsakh. I cannot begin to express in words what it was like to work and live in Armenia while the war was taking place. Words alone cannot do it justice, nor can I reflect on the trauma that we have collectively experienced because we have yet to start healing from it. The war and the devastating aftermath made me, and perhaps many of you as well, question our role in the world as Armenians. It made me honestly reflect on our collective reality and realize just how little has changed in over 100 years. It also made me question what our relationship has been with Armenia for the last 30 years and what it needs to be in order to ensure its perseverance. The truth is, for years, our relationship with the homeland as a diaspora has been largely reactionary. Something bad has happened in Armenia and the diaspora has stepped up. But this is like this because it has been built on a foundation of inaccessibility. And I'm not saying this to blame the diaspora, not at all. Most of our parents and our grandparents lived in a time where even visiting Armenia was not a possibility. But we are the generation that has been born in a free and independent Armenia. We are the generation that has seen victory and loss, the generation who have a vast, untapped potential to build our nation. We are the generation who carry both the burden and the honor of having the right to defend our homeland. Each one of us has and will have their own journey to Armenia. And not all of our journeys will require a physical move to Armenia. But I truly believe that it is through the individual effort of every diasporan that we will collectively build the nation we all want to live in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Margarita. That was really inspiring. Rafi, are we taking questions for Margarita now, or did we decide to give her a breakout room?
Yeah, we're going to open up a breakout room for Margarita if anybody wants to speak with her directly about her experience. Margarita, that was excellent. Pretty amazing what you've gone through. And you make a good point. You know, as a young man, Armenia wasn't free for me, and it became free during my lifetime. My grandfather never saw that in his life, where now you guys are born into that. It's, you know, technology works the same way, right? Where you have generations where didn't have technology and it became part of their life as they grew up, and now you have a new generation that's been born, you know, online. So very similar pattern there. So excellent story. So actually, this is the reason why we're all here. We actually have about 10 minutes. So before we move across, if there's any questions, please, we can actually do them right now, or we can move ahead to our breakout rooms.
We can go
If you want to ask a question, go ahead. You can either unmute yourself or stick it in the chat and I'll read it out loud.
There can also be questions from Marad or anybody, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to say the emails have already started coming in, Rafi. I think a lot of people are already pretty inspired. So thank you both for speaking already today.
Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about kind of what's next steps then. We're going to build out the breakout rooms, and they're going to be by discipline. So we're trying to make this as inclusive as possible, so you don't get stuck in a room by yourself. We certainly don't want that, and that you have somebody to talk with. So if you have any problems with the connection to the breakout rooms, come back to the main room and we can assist you out. We have Hagop Jamgochan, who's going to be helping out in the main room, as well as others in the main room that if you run into any problems. So in a few minutes, if you bear with me, we're going to have there's a button on the bottom in your Zoom that says breakout rooms. You're going to click on that and it's going to open up a window and list the breakout rooms for each discipline. You select the room that you are either mentoring in or you wish to be mentored from, and you join that room. And if you wish to leave the room, there's two ways. You can hit the breakout room button again to select a new room, or you can select the leave room button in order to go back to the main room. So hopefully that all makes sense. Just bear with me while, and if you have any questions or concerns, or you'd like to talk about what you just heard, feel free to unmute yourself and speak while I put this all together.
Meanwhile, we have mentors in a lot of different fields who were not necessarily able to be with us at this specific time today, but are interested in interacting with you. And so if there's a field that you're interested in or someone that you wanted to speak with who's not in one of the breakout rooms today, that's what we're here for. You can message us during Zoom or you can email us afterwards, and we'll make sure to connect everybody. And you know, Margarita, the feedback is coming in on the Zoom chat. I don't know if you've had a chance to see that. Thank you so much for sharing your story. You know, you should see the emails coming in on our end. It's very moving. Thank you. Give us a moment to get these set up. Maral, you have a question in the chat. Is Maral already in a breakout?
Yes, I was gonna type it, but I guess I can just say it out loud. Hello, hi. So I am a Stevens alumni as well as Jeremy Baddick. I don't know if we have, I think we might be the only alumni on here. So I'll be in the engineering breakout room and Jeremy will be in the medical related breakout room. And I think you can switch between rooms. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, so you can switch in and talk to us.
So I'm going to open up the rooms. If you see something that doesn't appeal to you and you'd like to look at something else, feel free to chime in and I'll open up a new room. Or if you go into a room and you see that there's no one else in there, come back to the main room and we can kind of point you in the right direction.
Margarita, if I could, thank you for sharing your story. I'm a student of economics, and I've been working out for 8 years in New York, from Los Angeles, like you. After accumulating some experience, have had this, and visiting Armenia, the desire to use some of those building blocks to open new doors and to try to create a foundation for Armenia using the skills that I have. You mentioned it's not a walk in the park. Obviously, it's been an incredible year of devastation for Armenia, for the world. But you mentioned trying to allow access, to remove barriers, to welcome the diaspora to Armenia. What do you see? How are you working toward that? And what opportunities would you suggest for people looking to come to Armenia to use their experience?
Sure. I think most importantly, given one of the main things that I'm working on right now at the Office of the High Commissioner for Diaspora Affairs is developing a repatriation and integration center. It's essentially, hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have it up and going. It's supposed to serve as this center that will not only ease the process of repatriation, but also provide all the resources that the diaspora would need throughout this journey, whether they're making that immediately, whether they are considering it and looking for potential opportunities. So that's something that we are working on. In general, I think depending on the age range, there are lots of opportunities in Armenia. Two things come to mind that if you just want to sort of, wet your feet and see what working culture is like here, what different organizations, both in the private sector and public sector are. Birthright Armenia provides really great opportunities. And if you're, I believe, above the age of 32, that's their limit, if I'm not mistaken, then there is the Armenian Volunteer Corps, which essentially provides a similar platform where you volunteer for an organization or the government for a specific amount of time. And you get to essentially intern there and understand what things are like on the ground while you're in Armenia. So those are two very good opportunities. We also have the program called IGORTS, which is done by our office, where we place diaspora professionals in various ministries and public sector offices. That actually, our deadline for that just closed, so I can't really do much PR for it at the moment. Literally, our deadline for that was the 15th. We've had a really great success with that program this year. We have 50 or 52. I believe 52 individuals working in various ministries. Some of them are doing an amazing job and they've found it very easy and they were able to, get the ball rolling, start really cool projects as they're working. Some of them, it's been a struggle. There's a lot of bureaucratic barriers. There's lots of things that are different in the work culture that when you're coming from the diaspora, no matter from where, it's a bit of a cultural shock and you do have to learn to understand and work with people, not just work against people. So that program, our deadline just for it has closed. But if you're really interested in working in the government, you can also email me and we can bring it up with our office and see what's possible. The deadline for that has closed, unfortunately. If you've already
I was lucky enough to apply last minute, so I did manage to do that, but I'm very interested in the program, and I would love, I mean, obviously with the success that the program has had over the past year, but with the change in government potentially, I'm curious what type of support you feel your office has been receiving now in the future.
I think that the program itself has enough merit and has had good enough like results that even if the government was to change and God knows our office is dissolved, which is a possibility, in all honesty. It's a small possibility, but it is possible. I think that the program still has its merit and that the ministries have realized that this is a real asset for them, and they would fight to actually keep these people on and make sure that the program continues. It is a one-year contract, so dissolving that contract would be pretty difficult, even if something politically was to happen. So you do have that guarantee, of course. So you have a bit of that guarantee, and I think the program has its merits to keep it going and kind of safeguard it against anything. But at the same time, we do have a really good community. The IGORTS participants all befriend one another. We have a great network now. So a lot of them are also starting.
Why don't you get up there and I'll take a picture here and then get there and I'll take one.
Nothing to do, just right here. We want that.
What's happening? Not sure what that was.
He's been trying to join from his iPhone into the med room. So now that he spoke up, Jacob, can you move him to the med room, please?
Yes, he just got moved.
Thank you.
Just to, I lost my train of thought, I guess finish up in regards to that question. People do create a really good network here. And I think one of the great things is that a lot of people are also moving here with their families. Some people already have existing businesses that they move with them as they are doing IGORTS, and they have their own initiatives, and people create this wonderful network. So that really becomes a support system. Everyone befriends each other, and you sort of kind of go through this journey of repatriation with other people. So you're never really alone. And I think after the program ends, a lot of these people will be able to support each other in either finding new jobs or creating new opportunities with one another while they're in Armenia. I hope that answers the question.
No, thank you very much. And with people like you at the helm, I obviously there's a lot of support there. So thank you.